If you are new to the channel, then subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for further notification. Okay student, in continuation to our earlier lecture, we are now starting lecture 15. So here we will discuss, up to this much we have discussed primary backup coordination of DTOC and IDMT relays, and we have solved numericals. Now we will see in practical life how these overcurrent relays are connected in a three-phase system. So it is a three-phase overcurrent system. So you have three different phases, A, B, C. Let me zoom it a little bit. Okay. Then you can see there are two buses I am considering, bus A and bus B, like your earlier problem, bus B, bus A and B. So for each phase there will be one CT. So I have connected one CT in each phase, CT1, CT2, CT3. And each CT is connected to each relay, overcurrent relay, one relay RA, RB, RC. Three overcurrent relays are there. Here also three CT, three overcurrent relays are there. And the trip circuit is something like this. This is your three-phase breaker. This one is your breaker. This is your breaker. So the trip command or the plunger that will hit the trip contact to move out, that is done through this trip coil. This trip coil get energized, it becomes a magnet, then it will pull this plunger or push this plunger. So it is the trip battery. So how this circuit will be closed? This trip circuit will be closed depending on the relay signals. You can see here it is OR connection because all are connected in parallel. If any one of the signal gets connected, if RA gets connected, then also it will trip. If RC get connected, that also it trip. If all three gets connected, then any one getting any trip command will open the circuit breaker. Now here you can see the dot convention I want to explain. I have those who are following the video in lecture 7, I have also explained the dot convention, but there I have done some error, so I will try to edit that video. So you check here, the transformer dot convention is, if you see the dots, one dot is here and another dot is here. So dot convention, if current is entering through this dot, then it should leave through this dot. If one side it is entering through dot, transformer action in second side it should leave out of that. You can see here through this dot current is entering towards my CT, you can say. So the secondary dot it will come out. Through the secondary dot it will come out. Can you see it, or let me zoom it here one more time. So this one, D dot M. So if you consider this CT, so through D dot current is entering to the primary. So in the secondary through this dot current will come out. It is in, it is out. So this is the actual dot convention. So this way the dot convention are given. So now what is the problem? It will work good because I am using three overcurrent relays in three phase, but if you can see there are some faults in three phase system which are ground fault or line to line fault, so which mainly depends on the ground resistance. So in dry places where the ground resistance is very high, it is not a paddy land, no water is there, moisture content is nil. So in that case ground resistance can be very high. Your line to line fault resistance can be also very high. So if these are very high, then your fault current doesn't become so much. So in each phase this is okay, the respective phase filter. However, for ground or line to, the fault current depends on the fault resistance and the grounding resistance. So due to which your fault current may become low, not that much that you have anticipated. So this might, the fault current may be less or comparable to your normal current. It will be like your normal current. Even if there is a fault, you will assume that it is a normal current. You can think of, suppose load is very low in here, in this case, then your current setting, suppose your current you set for 100 ampere, but your load is taking only 10-20 ampere. So there is a fault occurs due to 50-60 ampere came. So overall total it will be 80 ampere, which will be below your 100 ampere that setting you have given. So even if there is a fault, the system cannot be able to detect this fault. So this scheme will not be helpful in this type of or will not be able to take care of this type of fault. So the idea is, if there is an imbalance in the system, in the system, then what happens? The neutral current doesn't becomes zero. The sum of the all three currents is not equal to zero. In balance condition it is zero, but sum is not zero. So if there is a fault, so this imbalance current flowing will be high. So why not put a overcurrent relay in the residual current path? Residual current path, that is the sum of all three. You add all these things in that path, you put a overcurrent relay to sense how much current is going. If it is going, ideal case it should be zero, but in practice there will be some imbalance in the system always. So some current will always flow through it. So you can set that value. Beyond that, if there is a current is going, so you can feel that there is a fault occurring. That's why my imbalance current is so high. So setting of this current, it doesn't depend on load current, because load current will not going to flow through that residual current path, because the unbalanced current will only flow, and that will depend on how much unbalance you are supposed to allow in that three-phase system. Normally it is 5 to 10%, or it depends on the standards. Now you can see the drawing now. Now you can see it. There are three CT, that is okay. CT A, B, C, but the relay is only two in the phase, RA and RC. RB is not required. Now how the B fault will be sensed? If there is any B fault, so this relay will trip, because it is imbalanced now. So this relay will trip. In addition to that, the earlier cases also, if your fault current is very low, then also it will trip, because some imbalance will be there, due to which the ground current will pass through this ground path, and we have set an overcurrent relay there. So you can see in both sides, in A bus A side, in bus B side, we put this extra ground relay RG instead of RB. So this combination is two overcurrent, one earth fault relay combination, which is most practically used in all distribution feeder. If you visit the substations, high electromechanical relays are there, you will find two overcurrent relay, and in between them one earth fault relay is there. So this is known as three-phase feeder with two overcurrent and one earth fault, or earth overcurrent relay in the earth path, or two-phase or one ground relay, you can say. Now there are 11 faults in a three-phase line. Let us see in both the cases which relay will sense this trip. So these are very good examples. You will understand this one. Suppose there is a fault in A to G, that is line to ground. Line to ground, we will have three faults: A to G, B to G, and C to G. So in three-phase relay, that is the earlier drawing, and the two-phase is the latest drawing, the second drawing, where the ground relay is included. So in A to G, in three-phase, only A will trip, but here A will also trip, and along with G will also trip, because the current in the residual path will also trip, and we have put a relay in the residual path. In B to G, here B relay will trip, but here there is no B relay, only ground relay will trip, because ground relay will sense the unbalance. So similarly for C to G, it is C, here C and G. For ABG, it will sense AB, but here it will not sense AB, only A and G, because B phase there is no overcurrent relay. ACG, here also ACG. BCG, here it will be BC, but here it will be CG, because B is not there. So AB, it is A, AC, it is AC, BC, it is again C, because B is not there. Here in this case, no B is there. And it is a symmetrical fault ABCG, then it is ABC, here it will be AC only, because there is no B here, assuming that the pre-fault balance condition is there. Generally in practice you will never find, in distribution side you will never find it is in balance condition. So mostly there will be something unbalanced. So if it is unbalanced, then G will also come, but we are assuming this is because these are known as symmetrical fault. So we are assuming that system is in symmetry, that's why there is no G. That in ABC fault, in all these faults, if the system is, we are assuming that the system is balanced condition, and so after fault it is also balanced. So next, if you can move now, directional overcurrent relay. So this is required to avoid undesirable interruption or maloperation, to create a zone of protection. We want to create a zone of protection. Suppose I have taken an example here. Let me zoom it. Suppose I have taken an example here, which is doubly fitted. that is fitted from both sides. It is fitted from this side also, it is fitted from this side, two generators, and there are loads in between. Suppose there is a fault in B section. Which line you think that it should trip? It should trip this line. There is no need of tripping this. No need of tripping this. Unnecessary this customers will suffer because there is no fault here and here. These two can be easily fit by this generator. So in case of B, what we need, in case if there is a fault in B, so what we need? We need only this line to be out. Now suppose there are relays, this relay A and B, 1 and 2. Suppose these are simple overcurrent relay. These are not any directional relay. It can't sense any direction. It only sense the overcurrent relay. So if there is a fault in this side, this relay will also trip. This will also trip. Both will trip. So unnecessary this consumer will suffer. So ideally it should only two should trip. So that is the concept of directional relay. If it is directional, then it becomes more selective to us and unnecessary interruption can be avoided. So you can see here that the same line they are talking about in 1, 2 are simple. If they are simple overcurrent relay, then for both faults A and B, 1 and 2 operates, which is not desirable. Either in this side fault or this side fault, both will trip. Because if there is a fault, current will come from this side also, current will come from this side also. So if it is not directional, both will trip, which is not desirable. So if it is a directional, then for FB only two will. If it is a, suppose somehow I made these two to operate only in direction, only in this direction. That's why I have given the arrow. If fault occurs in this direction only, then 2 will trip. If fault occurs in this direction only, then A will trip. Suppose I made it in this way, I made it directional in this way. So in that case, if there is a fault in B, only 2 will trip. A will remain healthy. Because A is healthy, this consumer will get power. So if it is directional relay, then for fault in B, fault in FB, only 2 will trip. Hence, there will be minimum load interruption. The load interruption will be minimum. We can provide service to maximum number of consumers. So directional overcurrent relays are useful in this situation. If the fault flows in the outward direction, that is always that is known as outward direction. This is the outward direction for the relay. The direction that you have given to trip, your desired direction, in which direction you want to trip it. Then the relay will trip, else it will restrain. If it is, suppose there is a fault here. So fault current will come from this side, fault current will come from this side. Because the current is going this side, this relay will not trip. Because it is not in its forward direction. Its forward direction is given in this way. The desired direction is given in this way. If something high current flows in this direction only, then only it will trip. Here also high current flowing, but the direction is different. That's why one will not trip. So that's what they are saying. So directional overcurrent relay are costly. Then simple overcurrent relay due to PT requirement. So as of now, you can understand. If I want to sense the direction, that means I need to sense the angle. So for angle sensing, you need to measure voltage and current. What is the angle between these two? Hence, this should be used. That's why it is costly. So it should be used with proper selectivity and necessary. It is not like that we will put directional relay in everywhere. Wherever there is overcurrent relay, we are putting directional relay in everywhere. That means overall cost of the system will be very high. So we will put it very selectively and very necessarily where it is required. So some typical cases I will explain here. What are the cases where it is used? It is used in meshed system. If it is interconnection system, that is power is feeding from both 2-3 sides, doubly feeded system they say, like your earlier example what we have told you just now. The single feed parallel line, we will discuss this one, and ring feeder. There is a loop formed in the system. This feeder. This is a single feeder but parallel line, 2 parallel feeding option. So let me take a case here. Suppose there is a fault in this section. So how current will fall? Current will flow. Let us first see this one. One current will flow this way and one current can come through this also. This is also a path because this is a short circuit path, so 2 current can flow. So currents will flow in these 2 ways. Okay. So you always remember, generally in the generator side, the relay that is given, these are simple relays, bidirectional, that should operate both in the source side. Because from the source side, we want to protect it from either direction. If current is flowing in this direction, then also it will strip. If current is flowing, so in generator side, you always put bidirectional because you want to protect it from whatever side the fault is flowing. So you always remember, through source, the relay which are close to your source will be always simple relay. It will be always bidirectional relay. And the other relays, the load side relays or the other side of the feeder relay is always directional. So here this relay is made bidirectional, these two relays. And this relay, what I have given in this feeder, so this is in this direction, so that anything occurs in this feeder, these two will operate, so that this feeder goes out. So you try to remember this one, how this, which one is directional, which one is non-directional. So always generator side non-directionals and the other side will be directional. Suppose there is a fault in here. So what is your primary protection? Which one will trip? 4 will obviously trip because it is bidirectional. Any fault, if current is flowing through it, whenever the current flows through it, high current either in this direction or that, it will trip. 3 is also trip because current can come through these also. So some current will come through these also, through 3 will also trip. So 4 and 3 will trip. So 4 and 3 are the primary protection for this fault, if I consider this fault. Now what is the backup of 3? You think, what is the, if suppose 3 fails, 3 doesn't work out, which one is the backup? 2 is not the backup because current is flowing in this direction, 2 will not trip. So backup is always 1. So these type of questions are very important. Even in GATE exams also these type of questions come, which one is primary. So we will be taking some questions after completing switchgear on GATE series also. So we will see that some questions comes from basic concepts only. So what is the backup of 3 is 1. What is the backup of 4? No backup for 4. 4 is not having any backup. You can see if 4 doesn't trip, if it doesn't trip, then there is no one to back up it because current is coming from, current is in this path only. So if 4 fails, there is nothing in this path to protect it. So if you see, this one is the ring system, the third one that they are talking about. But here the generator is in the above and this forms a loop, something of this loop. So there are 1, 2, 3 buses are there, in each buses loads are there. So here 2 faults I have considered. Suppose there is a fault in fault 1, F1. Suppose the fault is F1. Here this is the fault. So first let us see how the current can come. Because this is source, so current can come from this. Okay, this is fault current. Another path can be this path. So there are 2 ways the current can comes. Current can flow through the fault. Now you see the relay. Which relay will be non-directional? Because these 2 are the close to the source. So these will be non-directional. Any direction current goes above in the generator side, it should trip, irrespective of which direction it is flowing. If it is above, then it should trip. But for other side, for this relay, it should trip in this direction. So this feeder is complete. So you know how the, suppose there is a feeder, you are suppose this side there is a non-directional relay. So this side it is protected. So from this side, if your normal flow of power is this, so you give another. So now what you are getting, in generator side it is always bidirectional and other side it will be directional, so that it completes the feeder one, so that this feeder can be taken out. So if there is a fault here, I have seen the path through which the current is flowing. Which relay will trip? 1 and 2 will trip, because through both current is flowing, and 1 will obviously trip because current is in any direction it will trip, and through 2 you can see the current is flowing in the direction that we have given, so it will trip. So 1 and 2 will trip. Now what is the backup of 2? If 2 doesn't comes through, so the current was coming through this way. So if 2 fails, if it is not working, then which one will work? Then 4 will work, because 4 is also in this direction. So which one is the backup for 2? 4. Which one is, suppose 4 is not working, then which one is the backup for 4? So which is tripping in this direction? 6. So 6 will trip. So backup of 4 is 6. If suppose 6 is not working, then which one will trip? 8. And what is the backup of 8? No. There is no backup for it. So we can see the backups and backups. So for 2 the backup is 4. If because the current is flowing in this path. So if 2 fails, then 4 will work. If 4 fails, then 6 will work. If 6 fails, then 8 will work. Because the others are not supposed to trip in this path. So for F2 you can think of now, for F2 which is your primary, 7 and 8 is your primary. If 7 fails, then which one will trip, because current is flowing through this direction now. So 5 will trip. 5 will trip. If 5 fails, then 3 will trip. If 3 fails, then 1 will trip. So these are the backups for backups and backups. So you can think of now coordination of primary backup will become problematic here, because there are lots of backups are there. We have to think all these cases. So I think that's all for today. We will continue how these direction relay are made directionals. If you liked the video, then press the like button and please give your valuable comments in the comment section.